Hi everybody, this is Alchemist 2 and I'm back again with another series review. I just recently watched Chapter 5. I'm glad that they called it Genius because it's not just focusing on Albert himself, but also his relationship with Marie Curie, which they brought out more in this particular episode. And I did not know this about Edward, but he was under the impression that his father had completely forgotten him and had been so absent-minded that he dropped his pipe and set a fire, but that's actually not what happened. When Mineva came to visit, she told him the truth, and it kept jumping from present moment to past moment, and it was kind of disorienting, but I understood where it was going and thought it was a very interesting portrayal. I love it when he meets Kafka and he talks about how artists themselves are geniuses and as well as writers in their own regard. And of course Einstein brings up the fact that he had been a clerk at one point in time, which he utterly detested. And of course Kafka mentions that too, and Albert says, well, did you ever feel like a cockroach? And then Kafka just he becomes kind of astonished, and you see that aha eureka moment, and he says, oh, what a very fascinating metaphor. And then boom, there you go, the Metamorphisis by Franz Kafka, ladies and gentlemen. And of course we have Jung. And Carl Jung was speaking to, this is referring to Edward again, the youngest son. Alberti was the eldest. I thought, of course, yeah, he would have been named after his pop. So I remembered, I thought, yeah, I remember reading that in the book. So he really wasn't that much of a father figure. He was more consumed with the bulk of his work, and seemed like Mineva started losing her mind because she felt like she was just relegated to being more like a beast of burden or chattel, as she put it. She said that I might as well be a mule and be yoked to a cart. And I thought, ooh, yeah, she had hysteria, and Jung called her out for it. But it was that whole paternalistic society, as in, oh, you should be satisfying your husband's needs by engaging in sex with him whenever he wants. That's a very Freudian notion. I don't know how much that's changed nowadays with psychology, because I haven't really studied that much psychology. It was kind of a side study for me that I found very interesting. I haven't really looked into a lot of psychological books. I did, of course, Lusher's Lusher color tests, and that was a big thing back in the 70s, and I don't know if it's coming back into vogue or not. It very well may be. It's funny how these things in science take ebbs and flows like every other thing in this world. I found it absolutely amazing that Albert defied the laws of convention again with seeking Marie's approval. Actually, he got approval from another source, but it was so interesting how these things played out, especially the rule of four. The whole idea of things happening in fours, and how four was such a elementary har, earth, fire, wind, water concept. And of course nowadays, if you look into metaphysics, there are 11 dimensions. There might be even more than 11. I'm thinking that our very finite understanding of our world, not the worlds outside of us, but our world within the worlds, within other worlds. Okay, I'm not going to get you all confused. I believe in multiverses. I have believed in multiverses ever since I was little. I don't know if we have the ability to breach any of those multiverses, but I had a character who was a quantum jumper with whom I relate very deeply because I felt like she was what I really wanted to be. If I had the opportunity to just think, literally jump wherever, just have the idea. I wouldn't even have to have been in this particular place. All I have to do is just visualize this landscape, and then, bang, I'm there. But that's what this character could do. That's Regina, my favorite character. Regina Cessatina, Regina Cessatina, Mach the Third. Of course, Mach being the ability of which she can travel. She can travel at Mach speed. So, yeah, she's faster than the speed of light. She is light. But I just thought, yeah, wouldn't that be such an experience? I could just imagine that. But, yeah, I just trail off and wonder what it would be like to be that incredible. But this episode was absolutely tremendous. I thought that everything about it was very well fleshed out, and we see Mineva suffering and Edward and how the actions are lack thereof of Einstein himself influenced him, and then Mineva's revolution to her son as to she wasn't paying attention. It was her fault. It wasn't Albert's fault. What happened during this particular incident is the boys had come in with matches. She was asleep on the couch where she was just enervated because she was dealing with, I'm thinking that she had great bouts of depression. She might have been the first person to be bipolar. And of course, Edward mentioned something about schizophrenia, and hysteria was a very common diagnosis that they would give to women just because they thought it was the most the easiest. It was sort of a half-assed way of doing things. It just, just put them in their place and make them do what they have, do whatever must be done. Remove their whole reproductive tract to get them back in order. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that much about that, but anyway, that's why I don't really like that particular part of history. Even though it was Europe, that was supposed to be more progressive, and it just goes to show that they really weren't when it came to women's rights. They were still on the up and up, but still, just for her to be subjected in such a manner to that kind of misogyny was just wretched. And she felt like she was sequestered. She felt cloistered, and she felt like she was suffocating. She even mentions that, and I'm interested in seeing what becomes of her because I feel so sad for her. I feel so sorry, but yet I want Albert to have happiness, even though it's a non-conventional thing. And it kind of makes me wonder, in this day and age, people are talking a lot more about polyandry and polygamy. And I don't know how I feel about that, honestly, but I'm intrigued, needless to say. I'm a traditionalist, but I just, in this day and age, in this world where it takes more than two paychecks to make ends meet, kind of makes you think, wouldn't it be more economical? I don't know, maybe I'm stepping on some toes here, but it's food for thought. It definitely is. And I'm more along the lines of Albert and marriage, and I think marriage is a good thing. However, I think that it can be kind of limiting in ways. I really don't have that much else to say about this episode other than it was positively fascinating, and I loved every minute of it. And that's all I got to say for now. So until next time, live long, prosper. Oh, by the way, my eye's getting better, so thank goodness. I should be completely better by tomorrow, maybe day after. I'll probably be working on just getting stuff moved into my garage, which is running out of space. But until then, I shall see you next time. Ciao tutti!